this is okay. This. Try that with me. Let's do that part again. You're getting it now. Now we go up to here. Let's bring in shout-outs together. ay, 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 ay.
Our fire-safe candles will be lit tonight by the Moses Beller family. So if I can call up the entire family. Page 2 in your prayer books. The debut tonight of Lev in honor of Jen's birthday. Do we? Yeah, you know what, Jen? We're a little bit worried about fires around here, so you just press that button and the candles will. And then there was light. Page 2. Happy birthday to Jen. And happy birthday to Liz Glazer. I don't know where she is. Happy birthday, Liz. Please turn to page 24. Let's welcome in. I'd like to call up Isaac, who's going to help us with Shalom Aleichem this evening. Help us welcome in all of the angels. Page 24.
Shalom
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, everyone. For those of you who I don't yet know, and I think there are many of you, I'm Rabbi Shira. Welcome here to the Aspen Jewish Congregation. And the more important people to meet is our High Holiday davening team, who is here tonight. It's not actually the High Holidays right now, but it will be very, very soon. So many of you know Lindsay and Eric and Aiden and Sophia and Mike, who is filling in this evening. And we are so excited to get to bring in Shabbat together in one of the most beautiful locations in the entire universe. So I'm just going to ask you to settle in as we turn to page 12 and sing together L'chuna Ranana. I've taught this before, but I just want to say it again. As we bring in the Shabbat with song and with joy, the ancient rabbis, it's sort of not a request to bring in Shabbat and joy. The rabbis knew that some of us coming into Shabbat with joy would be quite easy in some weeks. We had a great week. Many wonderful things happened. We had work was wonderful. We had some great hikes. We went biking, whatever it was. We're just really, really happy. But for some of us coming into Shabbat, we're doing it with hearts that are broken, or we're sad. The week didn't go the way we wanted it to, and our hearts are heavy. And even if that is us this Shabbat, there is a request to try to find the space, the smallest seed of joy, and to see what can grow from it over the next 25 hours. And one of the ways we do that in the Jewish tradition is through song, and not just song by yourself, but song in community. People that you know and that you know love you, and people that you don't know even at all, but that can still support you no matter how you're showing up this evening. Page 12.
Betodah Bizmiro Nahari Alo Hay ay 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 ay
So a few weeks ago, I gave a sermon about what a bad farmer I am. So it'll surprise none of you here to know that actually I learned a little bit about, Claude taught me a little bit today about farming. We're turning, by the way, to the bottom of page 14. This is Psalm 97. And that, maybe you guys knew this, but did you know that when you sow a seed, you actually can't see the seed because it's underground? Yes. Did anyone? Okay, Eric. I did not know that until this afternoon when Claude taught me that. But anyway, and it's important in this prayer that we're about to sing because the line in the prayer that we say is, light is sown for the righteous. And we're not talking about like the kind of light that comes from the sun. We're talking about the supernal light of goodness and of justice and of kindness and of generosity. And so what this prayer is actually trying to teach us, the one that we're about to sing, is that when you act in this world, when you sow righteousness and kindness and goodness and generosity, it's not always something that you can see right away because it's underground. And so maybe this week there was something that you did, a way that you showed up in this world that was not immediately reciprocated. You were nice to someone and, maybe they ignored you. Or you tried to be kind to your teenager and they walked away from you. That has happened to me more than once. Or in other ways, there was a way that you offered something of yourself, but the way that the other person showed up was still underground. And so maybe this prayer can remind you that even when we show up in the world with kindness, and the kindness does not come immediately back to us, to remember that someday it will. And if it doesn't come back to us, it'll come back to someone else. And the more we give, the more will be continued to be given in this world, out and out and out, and the more the seeds will grow, and the more generosity and kindness and righteousness and justice will continue to grow in the world. So even if you don't see it immediately, the seeds are underground and they will continue to grow. Page 14, bottom paragraph.
Zarua Latzadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha Or Zarua Latzadik Uyishrei Lev Simcha.
Page 20, Lecha Dodi. We're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Please rise and face east, our hearts and our bodies towards Jerusalem, as we turn to welcome the Sabbath bride. Verse 9.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha u'v'tzola tochem b'nei am segula boi chala
Please stay standing. And we continue to face east as we turn to page 28 for the Barchu, the call to prayer.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Page 32, Ahavat Olam. Let's sing about love, unconditional love, eternal love.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Okei Adonai Eloheinu B'shochbeinu u'kumeinu Nasiach bechukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם בלילה, יומם בלילה. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema is on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ובשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Inside, hopefully most, if not all of your prayer books is this little, this is not the piece of paper I'm looking for. Yeah, this is the piece of paper that we said when we were, no, I have it. This is when we were praying for snow. That one didn't really work. But hopefully, yeah, sorry? Yep. Let's do this first, because I just, okay. This piece of paper is in your prayer books. Listen, I know that we have a lot of Jews in this place, which means we only about 50% of you will say that you believe in God. But you're here at Shabbat services this evening, so I'm just going to ask you to go with me on a thought experiment, which is that you are not alone in this world, and that there are other human beings, and that there is something that is holding you and that will accompany you through times in your life that are good and ones that are difficult as well. The prayer that we're about to do is called the Hashkivenu prayer, and it is one in which traditionally we would ask God to protect us. We say it every single night before we go to sleep, and we ask God to spread God's sukkah of peace over us. And as a community, we often use this moment to ask that God spreads God's sukkah of peace not only over us, but over everyone around the world who needs it. And tonight will be no different. When we pray this prayer, let's hold in our hearts everyone around the world who needs safety and who needs peace. But that includes us. And what's special about the prayer that we're about to say is that we're asking for God's protection, not only when we have come through the dangerous times, but also when we are in the middle. When we are in the midst of whatever difficulty we're going through, when our heart is in the middle of being broken, when we are in the middle of being sick, we are in the middle of not knowing whatever is coming next, we are still asking God to walk with us in that difficult time. So as Sophia and Aiden lead us through this next prayer, whatever your belief system is, just hold that you are not alone and that there is a force that is carrying you through this moment. Hashkivenu.
Shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love, shelter us in place, shelter us in peace, shelter us in love, shelter us in love. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu L'Shalom, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu L'Shalom.
moment when you make it to the other side. Mi Chamocha, page 40.
Yeah, it's the thing from before. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nor tehilot osef ele, nor tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, lokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, ze Eli anu ve'am, ze Eli anu ve'amru Adonai, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam
Page 44 is Vishamru. Please rise as we give thanks for Shabbat.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat,
לעשות את השבת לדורות המריד עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריד עולם.
ביני ובני ישראל,
אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריד עולם.
אמרו בני ישראל,
את השבת,
לעשות את השבת,
לדורות המריד עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת
לדורות המריד עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל
את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריד עולם.
היי 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 היי
Amidah will begin on page 46. As usual, we'll start out loud, and then we'll go into silence through page 62.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 da, da, da. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 da, da, ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wasn't Mountaintop Shabbat amazing? Like, it was, I mean, we counted 680 people on top of Ajax last week, and we received so many compliments for Mountaintop Shabbat. And I felt so great until someone told me that we should have had 2 buffet lines for breakfast. And then I got a second complaint about something else. And then I got a third complaint about something else. And that is what I have been awake every night this week thinking about. Those 3 complaints. I know. And I was replaying them. I know. You should all feel. And then I was replaying them over and over and over in my head until my brain started doing something even worse. I started thinking about next year. And I was thinking about the fact that next year, there is no way we're going to get 680 people on top of the mountain. Why? Because the airport's going to be closed. And then the second half of the week, all I was thinking about is how terrible next year's Mountaintop Shabbat was going to be. And somewhere between like the ecstasy on Shabbat morning and like, Thursday morning, like my whole brain it sort of shifted. And I didn't even notice the leap. Now, I mean, you don't need to feel bad just for me because, of course, this is how most of us are built. Psychologists call this the negativity bias, right? A bad thing will always land harder than a good thing of the same size, right? And it always will get ruminated on for longer, and it is always easier to retrieve later. And my thing that I retrieved this week was I forgot about the 60 good comments, and those 3 criticisms stayed with me all weeks long. Now, God, of course, understood the negativity bias when she wrote the book of Deuteronomy 2,000 years ago, because God, through Moses, lays out exactly that asymmetry for the Israelites with far higher stakes. So let me just talk for a second about how this week's Torah portion begins. It starts like this. See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. Blessing if you obey the commandments, and curse if you do not obey the commandments and follow other gods. There, of course, is that idol worship again. Okay, so now what you have here at the beginning of this week's Torah portion is a clean transaction. It's 1-to-1. If you obey, you will be blessed. And if you transgress, then you will be cursed. But if you keep on going a few more chapters, then we get another list of blessing and curses. And again, it's like 1-to-1. Obey, you will be blessed. Transgress, you will be cursed. And then there is a switch. Because at a certain point, the blessings simply stop. And all of a sudden, we get this tremendous list of curses. They go on and on and on. Like if you screw up, you will have drought, you will have disease, you will have defeat, you will have siege. There will be page after page after page of curses with no blessings across the aisle to answer for them. But what's so interesting is like right at that moment where like the 1-to-1 correlation between blessings and curses give out, the text stops. And it tells us exactly why we're about to get all of these curses. This is what it says. It says, because you would not serve the eternal your God in joy and gladness over the abundance of everything. So I want us just to sit with that for a second. We are cursed with all of these extra curses because we failed to notice the abundance that we already had. So in this text in Deuteronomy, at least, what cursed means is not that bad things are happening to you, because bad things happen to all of us all the time. But instead, what cursed means is the inability to register the good things that are happening to us alongside the bad. And so blessing is then indeed the opposite. It's not that good things are happening to us, because indeed good things happen to us all the time. A blessing is when we notice the good things that are happening to us, even when bad things are happening to us as well. So I am cursed if all I can think about is that one measly buffet, and I forget to think about that extraordinary Shema that 680 of us said together on top of Ajax proudly as Jews. And I am truly blessed if I can say to myself, okay, we made a few mistakes, but oh my God, on top of that mountain, all of us together, that is the image I should truly be holding. So by now, those of us who have heard all of my sermons about Deuteronomy know what's happening in the Torah right now, which is that Moses is desperately trying to give over to the Israelites all of these pieces of advice before he dies and they go into the promised land. And so perhaps that is why he and God are actually doubling down on the blessings and curses right now. Because one of the things that Moses and God knows is the posture that we hold today about curses and blessings is the posture we will use to build a different tomorrow. And here's the problem, because here is where our human wiring works against us twice. Because not only does the bad land harder, the bad is also easier to believe. Now, I learned about another psychological theory this week. This is called the availability heuristic. Does anyone know about this? I did not. This is what it means. It means the easier something is to picture, the likelier our gut insists it is. This is why people fear plane crashes much more than car crashes, even though, unfortunately, everyone, we are all much likelier to die in car crashes than we are in plane crashes. Because curses are much easier to picture and therefore easier to mistake for likely. We are much easier to think of a curse and believe it is going to happen than we are to think of a blessing and believe it is going to happen. So the writer Rebecca Solnit, she names this trap very precisely in an interview about her new book that is about to come out. It's called The Beginning Comes After the End. She talks about pessimism and cynicism and doom and what she calls doomerism. And she says they are all the same move. And what she says, they all assume that we know the future and that therefore, because the future is going to be terrible, nothing is actually required from us in the present. Whereas the truth is, we actually have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And therefore, there is a lot that is required of us. And that is the trap that all of these curses set in front of us. And that is the trap that I fell into when I started to think about how terrible Mountaintop Shabbat is going to be next year. Because all of a sudden, I was able to let myself off the hook about Mountaintop Shabbat because there's no way that it could be as good as this year. But in fact, that's not true. So here is a second possible definition of a blessing and a curse. A curse is what we get when we treat a bad outcome as the only possible outcome, and we stop working to make a different outcome true. And a blessing is what we build on purpose out of a future that nobody has actually written yet, even though the airport is going to be closed. Which means this time next week, everyone, it will be Elul, and we will be turning our hearts to a new possible next year. The whole future is open to us, and we can make it a radically different one, and a one that is entirely blessed, and that is not small at all. So what I'm going to try to remember as we turn our hearts to 5787 is that the next time I hear 60 compliments and 3 complaints, I'm going to try to remember the compliments. And I'm going to always go back for that one extraordinary Shema on top of the mountain. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We now turn to page 253 for the Mi Sheberach prayer for healing. I ask you to please rise if you are able. Tonight we are praying for healing for Dorothy Morrison, Dwayne and Sharon Williams, Larry Bogatz, Elsie Camargo, Debbie Robertson, Kim Rosenstein, Carol Kafin, David Clark, E.J. Williams, Harav Miriam Yael Batsara, Noam Avraham Ben Atara Shlomit, Brenda Stern, Warren Klein, Mary Claire Garrity, John Crystal, Jeff Siegel, Jane Sheff, Bob Rothenberg, Sakura Fabianek, Lainey Fabianek, Sarah Bat Leibel Wolf Bacha, Avraham Ben Mordechai, Yehudit Bat Miriam, Carolyn Jacobs, Patrick McBride, Bobby Zacharia, Ronan Ben Chaya, Paulie Tuig, Susie Bitzadler, Leslie Lovitz, Rob Levitt, David Fox, Michael Halpern, Warner Noor, Avinoam Mordechai Ben Telma, Avram Ben Natan Vepesichana, Zev Yaakov Ben Reuven V'Yael, Vivian Shapiro, Jeanette Odelberg, Chana Batsara Imenu, Rochelle Frisch, and Trisha Braun. If you can call out the names of the people that you are praying for this evening, just call them out into the space so that we can all hear and pray for them. Please remain standing as we turn to page 282 for the Aleinu. We're going to begin on the bottom of page 282, and we're going to turn that way towards Jerusalem while we're on the bottom of 282, and then we'll go to the top of 284. Then you can turn back to the front.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום וידעת היום.
Please be seated. Announcements will be offered this evening by Executive Director Lindsay Maish.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for your encouragement. I appreciated that. All right, here we go. So, High Holidays program is out. everybody. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on the back table back there. There's also some postcards about our Hebrew school, which has been relabeled as Macomb. So please pick some of those up before you leave today if you're interested. All right, what's going on this week? So Wednesday, we have our last Aspen Jewish Conversations, night 3, The Long Arc, 250 Years of Jews in America. It's going to be super interesting with Rabbi Sharon Brous, Eric Cohen, and Jeffrey Goldberg as the moderator. We also have this other really exciting thing happening called Visiting Voices, where Rabbi Sharon Brous will teach at Explore Bookstore at the cafe on August 12th. And Eric Cohen's going to be teaching on Thursday, August 13th. That's from 11 a.m. to 12:30 if you're interested. Make sure you go RSVP on our website. Our last Mountaintop Shabbat on Ajax is going to be, I know, August 15th. I know, but it's going to be amazing, so please come if you can. And a special thank you to Chuck and Joy Schenk tonight, who are sponsoring tonight's Oneg in honor of their grandson, Max Genschaft's birthday. On August 3rd, who passed away in January of 2013. Our high holiday, oh, I already said that. We have lots more going on, so please grab our high holiday schedule, check your email, check the website. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Tonight we are remembering Susan Cadis, Stu Warner, Thelma Joseph, Alice Klein, Carol Mann, Henry Maringer, Alma Guerra, Ellen Perlmutter, Edward Stengel, Gideon Kaufman, Nick Vitti, Suzanne Scott, Hal Thaw, Debbie Bannon, Edward Brown, Melva Buxbaum, Ron Clausen, Andrew Dixon, David Engel, Sheldon Horwich, Herbert Horwich, Shelley Ingber, Jean Juden, Cyril Levin, Mickey, Minette Robinson, Mary Stern, and Max Genschaft. Is there anyone who's remembering someone this evening whose name I didn't? We're on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me Rabbah
Amen.
ve'almad divrach yirteh ve'amlich malchuteh v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudsha brichu, le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on earth, and let us say Amen. And may the memories of the ones who we have loved and lost be for a blessing. We are going to conclude our service this evening with Adon Olam. It's on page 321 in our prayer books. We are going to do for the first and the fourth verse. What do you think? The first
And the fifth.
The first and the fifth verse. The first and the final verse of Adon Olam. And then we'll say Kiddush and Motzi and continue to celebrate Shabbat together. Page 321.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol ואחרי כבלות דרכו
ואחרי כתלות הכל
לבדו ימלוך נורא
לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה
ותפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחסדו כל אזי מלך שמו בידו אף קיבוצי
בידו החירותי
ואת ישניה יראה
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Just our voices. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yetzir Nira, Le'nasa, V'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.